Hey, it's Carlo Biasucci. Welcome to the Weekend Wisdom. This week I want to unpack something very particular, which is this common sense that we are always out of time, that we're always, you're a high achiever or you wouldn't be here, right? I think majority, 99% of dentists that I talk to, I remember even in dental school, everyone is like really keen to outperform everyone else and really be at the highest level of performance. And we by nature are impatient people at this level of the game. So one thing that I want to break down for you is some small mindset tweaks to just help you think around. A really impactful quote that I heard was, there are no unreasonable goals, only unreasonable timeframes. It's absolutely true. You can do anything you want if you give it enough time, right? If you have the time to, if you allow yourself the time to work through and work to a goal, anything can be achievable. And I think we really overestimate what we can do in the next day, week, even month, but we underestimate what we could do in a quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. So if you think of your career, average dentist career, 25 years, you have 100 quarters. So 100 quarters is a lot of time to get stuff done. If you break it down properly, the way we teach this in our programs, in our leadership structure, like 100 quarters. So every year, and by the way we teach our leadership structure, you're going to work on 5 big movers per quarter, no more. 5 big movers. So if you have 5 big movers per quarter, that's 20 big movers per year. If you had 20 major accomplishments in a year, what would you have in 5 years, 10 years? I mean, you can move mountains if you just allow yourself the frame of reference to think longer term, right? Because, and I'm the same way. So this is just as much a reminder to me as it is, showing this to you. If you're hearing it for the first time, this is something you're going to want to come back to on a regular basis. So just by virtue of me teaching this to you, it's a reminder to me to think this way, because we all want everything yesterday, right? And especially the way that, society is now. Everything's like now. Everything's at your thumb, basically, on your phone, right? But what we really want to accomplish in our practices, sometimes it becomes like we don't do anything about it until the pain of not doing something is greater than just doing it. And so we get to the point of, finally, I'm going to deal with this, and we want it solved like today. Well, it doesn't always work that way, right? So no unreasonable goals, just unreasonable timeframes. Set the time frame appropriately. The way we break that down is just think in terms of quarters. If you have 5 big movers you're going to work on, and we do this in your quarterly meeting structure, right? So when you sit down with your team to set your next quarter, and we're going to do this at the in the fall for our strategic planning session for next year. When you sit down to create next quarter, what are your 5 big goals that you're going to work on? What are the 5 things that you're going to work on in your practice that are big movers that we're going to focus on? And then you have 4 quarters like that, you knock out 20 big movers in a year. That's a really good year. Right? Now you can start to see how people get really transformational results with the things that we teach. So if you stick to it and you really stick to that process, what's my goal? Break it down, department by department, day by day, hour by hour even. This is going to be like no problem to achieve those 5 goals. Usually you'll have it done halfway through the quarter. And then you knock out 20 in a year. Phenomenal. This is how you really get on the path to rapid growth, okay? This is how I grew triple in 3 years. This is the process, right? Then we have to be doing the right things. So what should we be doing? And even you personally, what should you be doing with your time, your personal time? So again, knowing you're doing the right things is all about making sure we start with clarity. You have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. What are your what's your North Star? Like, why do you bother? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? So you should have this, and I've delved into this very deeply in other videos. But what's your reasons why you do what you do that isn't about money? So you should have clarity about your big goal. What am I trying to achieve out of all of this energy? And then you categorize your activity. based on it's moving me closer to my goal, or it's moving me further away from my goal. If it's moving me further from my goal, then why am I doing it? At least why am I not delegating it? And sometimes it's, they're just things that are neutral. Well, even those things, you should start to, can I get this off my plate? Can I delegate this? You want to be doing things that are moving you closer to your goals. So always your quarterly big movers, your multipliers, those are going to be things that are moving you towards your goal. And you know what your goal is because you got clear on that, right? The very first thing we do in our programs, as you noticed, is that whole mindset thing where we talk about what are we trying to accomplish? Like, what's our reason why? And we create that structure, like personally, professionally, health-wise, community, how do we impact our patients, team, and so on. We talk about all those things because we want to be really, really clear. What are we trying to be as a business? What am I trying to be personally? And I can categorize even my own personal actions against that. I'm either getting closer to my goal or I'm getting further from my goal. Give you an example. I want to stay fit. Okay, I'm actually turning 40 as I record this tomorrow. So I would like to maintain my level of fitness for the next 10 years, 20 years, possibly longer. Why not, right? I intend to live to 130, so I think I've got some time to do this. Lots of quarters, right? If I decide that I'm going to eat a bag of chips every night, that is moving me much further from my goal. So I know my activity is moving me further from my goal. Stop doing it. If you can discipline yourself to continue to do the things that move you towards your goal, like not skipping my personal training session every week, then I ought to keep doing that, right? So you always know. If you're ever unsure, like sometimes it's, you have this question of, like, I'm doing all this work, am I doing the right thing? Like, I have the ability to discipline myself and sit down and get work done, but am I doing the right work? What's your goal? Is the work you're doing moving you towards this? Then keep doing it. If the work you're doing is moving you away from it or no closer to it, then stop doing it. This is how you categorize, am I doing the right thing or not? How do I know what my activity is worth? And then we talk about the speed of implementation. So once you know what your big movers are, you know that you're doing the right things, it's just speed of implementation. Success to me is, the momentum comes from speed of implementation. The faster you go from idea or concept to execution, the faster the momentum builds, right? So when you set your 5 goals, you break them down to the smallest unit, and then you go to work on that, and you do it right away. Speed of implementation. The faster we get that done, and you're going to find this. You will find this, I guarantee it. When you set your 5 goals, you're going to bang out most of those in half of the quarter. You'll probably end up with 3 or 4 weeks at the end of the quarter where you don't have anything left that you need to do relative to those goals. You'll still be dealing with stuff, but those big goals will be dealt with. So again, focus on speed of implementation. So longer outlook. You underestimate what you can do in a short time, but you overestimate what you can do in a short time, and you underestimate what you can do in a longer time. If you put the quarterly thought process into play, which we teach you at length in the leadership process in our programs, then you'll have big movers that will be, again, this is like slow and steady wins the race, because you're going to knock out 20 big things every year versus someone else who may have got a really good run, but then they got lazy, they stopped doing stuff, they maybe did only 2 or 3 things. This will always win. Intentional process always wins. Then making sure you're doing the right things, more of the right things, less of the wrong things. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Doesn't mean I never have a bag of chips. It does mean, though, that most of the time I am consciously choosing to do the right things and move me closer to my goals because I'm clear on my goals and I'm clear on why I want to reach those goals, okay? We've dug into that in other videos. And then speed of implementation. When we know what we're going to do and it's the right thing to do, we're going to aim to get that done as quickly as possible from idea or concept to execution, all right? If you focus on these 3 things and you're doing the things that we're teaching in our programs, it is very, very difficult not to get great results, all right? So I hope you found that interesting. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.